Hi, it's Dr. Ron England here, and this is Making Effective Maps with Caltopo Part 2. Part 1 just kind of got you introduction to Caltopo and some of the features that you have and actually putting in trails. But the nice thing about Caltopo is you've got a bunch of layers of maps that you can put on there. So I've got my little hybrid layer there, which has got a little bit of the aerial photography and then some of the lines. I've got my basic map builder topo, which I like the fact that it has trails, and many of those trails are very well geo-referenced, and they all exist mostly for the most part, the trails that are on there. There's trails that are missing. That's why I have the ability to draw in extra trails to the map. But let's take an example of looking at this track control right here. So if I look down here at the scale, 100 meters, this is roughly 500 meters here. So taking a 500 meter bearing and then cutting it at right here about another 75 meters, that's not a really good, that's a fairly long way to go to get to that thing. With a lot of pace counting, a good team's going to find that and have no real issues finding it, but it's still going to seem like a little bit like a scavenger hunt. So if I take this away and I go ahead and look at the USGS topo maps, which, great, I've got fantastic topographical detail here, and if I look at this now, I can say, well, obviously it's down here at the bottom of this pit here. That's fairly decent ways down, and you're gonna be able to see those features. Problem is, I don't have the trail. If I attack from this side and come across, I might be able to do it because these roads are probably here. But again, losing the detail there. So let me look at. There's a way to do this that's actually going to get the best of both worlds. Because in Caltopo, I've got the ability to stack one map on top of another. So if I take this scan topo and I stack another layer on top, and I now take that map builder topo here, well, that's there. Now, of course, I can't see the scan topos underneath, but I have the ability to set the transparency of this, and I set it to about 50%. Beauty of this is going to be is that when I'm printing this out, if I print this out at a fairly decent resolution, I'm going to be able to see this line, which is going to be the trail, and I'm also going to be able to see the topography here. That's one option for going ahead and solving that. So that's a great way to go ahead and do it. That might not be the only way that you want to go about that. One of the other possibilities that you can do is you can say, you know what, if these lines are part of the map, unfortunately that's just the way that they are. So what if I want to, I actually want to have this? Well, I do have some overlays. I got contour overlays that I can throw in here. And what you're going to really want to do here is you're going to want to look at these overlays and see if they're going to give you what you want. So like my contour overlay, the 5 meter being the smallest of the overlays, I do actually get a contour line there, and that may be what you consider to be sufficient to show that. The one problem with the contour overlays that come with the Caltopo is that they're not actually showing the directional of the overlays. I don't know whether this is a hilltop or whether this is a pit. So there is a problem there. I also have, and I don't think I've got a map sheet that I can stack on this one. I don't. There's the ability to take actually geo-referenced other maps and throw them on top. Now, what is my other option here? Well, my other option can be, you know what? If I need to show this line and I don't want to, and I don't want to have to, I think that both of the maps gets a little bit busy. I've always got that ability to say I'm going to add a line here. And in Caltopo, these lines are actually, I can take this and I can have it trace that line all the way along right there, and I can easily put a tracing of this entire network here near the control by simply clicking it out, and voila, that's going to be on the map now. So if I change my map to the scanned, I've got that red. Well, the problem with the red on top of that might be that it's very difficult to see, so I may want to change the color to something like black and make it, make it dashed or whatever else I want to do, or dotted. And now if I zoom in here, it's busy, but I can actually see that there's a trail there. And you can see that really took me no time to do whatsoever. And really at this stage, it's really looking at it and experimenting with the different things to see how they look. The few things that you've got to work with here, you've got quite a bit to work with. I've got the color that I can work with. I've also got something else that I can work with, which is the weights. So if I want to make it a little bit bigger, I check that. If I want to make it very obvious, I can change that weight there. And voila, you can see the weight being changed. You can also see that that blue line right here coincides kind of with the underlying roadway that was on the USGS map network. So in those cases, what I might want to do is come in here, go ahead and split this line. So I got it split. And now that's the blue line. Take this line, go ahead, edit it, make it a black line, because that's the color of the one, that's the color of the line behind it. Make it a little bit bigger, 6. And when I'm printing this out, it's going to you're going to see this double here, but you also should know most people that are reading this, especially in an adventure race, are going to look at it and say, well, that double is that roadway, and if all the other roadways are consistently mapped with the solid black, they're going to be able to see this. The other thing that you can do, see now if I go back to my original map builder topo, I can see that this is probably one consistent trail. This is one consistent trail. I typically want to go ahead and go out there, and well, not typically, I always want to go out there and confirm that these trails exist, but it is worth noting that when you put these together, the 3 different types of information that you've got to work with here that are the major ones that adventure racers and navigators can use is topography, see the contours, trails, which are right there, and the other one being vegetative features. And usually for vegetative features, I can use the hybrid, which shows both the trails and the vegetative features. But the other one I've got is the global imagery, which is going to give me much, much better ability to see those vegetative features. If you come down to the one that we were looking at here, that one that was in that depression, as I'm zooming in there, I can see that there's some definite vegetative type of things that are going on there, and I still got that ability to take those scan topos and go ahead and throw those into the background, catch both my vegetation and my contours. So in designing a map, in designing control points and putting them all together, you want to make sure that the racer has enough ability to read features and read them accurately to be able to determine a good attack point to get to a control. In this case, up this location, making the decisions of the best route to get to that location, because there's a lot of decision points that you can make with something like this, getting to the correct attack and going in. This area here, from my experience, is quite thick, and you can be within 30 meters of that control and you're not going to have any visibility of it whatsoever. So giving them a solid ability to attack it and read the contours, they're still going to have to navigate, they're still going to have to look, but it's not going to be a scavenger hunt. And that's what we're looking for when we do good adventure racing maps. Thank you much, and I hope this is helpful for all those people out there setting adventure racing courses.